Hi guys, from Karen here. For this layout I just gathered together all my leftovers from my May hip kit, lots of bits of paper, and I just decided to put it all together, layer it up and see what happened. It's the sort of layout I really love doing, with just gathering bits of paper together and just layering them up and cutting bits out and just seeing where it goes. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm just backing my photograph. This photo is from our recent holiday in Germany, but on Lake Constance, and this was our first day, and we'd gone out and it was sunny and we were feeling really happy with life being there, and it was such a beautiful day. So we just did a quick selfie. So I'm just layering up. I've layered it with the that On a Whim, back of the On a Whim paper from Amy Tan, and then I'm just picking out, going through all my scraps, really seeing what works together, layering them up, playing around with them, and I'm just putting them together and thinking, well, I like those three together, that works quite well. And now I'm trying a few larger pieces. Didn't like the yellow, it's much too bright, and that blended in too much with the white background, so that didn't work. So I thought I'd try this piece. It's just the back of the balloon paper. That's what the last bit I had left, and tried that in different places and didn't like it that way. No, I didn't like it that way either. And trying turning it round, tried it every which way, and I thought, no, not keen on that either. Oh, what about this piece? This was my favourite piece in the kit, I think, and I've been hoarding it, and I finally decided I would use it, and so I cut a piece out and used that for backing. Turned over that vertical piece, left it there for a bit to see if I liked it, and in the meantime I thought I'd do a bit of fussy cutting. That piece I'd been hanging on to, I couldn't decide whether to fussy cut it, use it for background, use it as a layering piece. So in the end, I've used it for everything. I've backed used the back of it to back the photograph, used a larger piece to back the whole layered area, bit with the photograph on anyway. And then I'm going to fussy cut some of the flowers out as well. So I'm really making the most of that paper, because I thought it was so beautiful and I really couldn't make my mind up what to do. So I'm quite pleased I've actually got to use most of it up on this layout in the end. Just fussy cutting out some of these flowers. I had used a few flowers on that I'd cut out on another layout, but this time I really got this paper used, almost completely used up, with these cutting out some flowers and using it for the background. So there we are. Those are all cut out, and now I've decided I don't really like that one. It was just too busy, and it didn't show up against the paper behind it. So the pink with the little hearts on, I thought it worked much better, and I liked it like that. So that's pretty much how my layers are going to end up. And I'm fiddling around with a load of, fussy cut a load of flowers from previous kits, and I've just kept them on this little plate here, so that if I needed to use some more in later layouts, I could pick them out. So I have picked out a few of these flowers, some of the turquoise and pink flowers. I think it was from a Maggie Holmes. Oh, I can't remember. Or it might have been from Little by Little. Anyway, one of the collections in the May kit, or one of the kits. I can't remember one bit of paper from one kit to the next, I'm afraid. They all get sort of blurred together. But anyway, really pretty flowers that I've cut out, and I thought I'd use them. The colours worked quite well with the photograph. So that's what I've done. And now I've decided that sometimes I do outlines on the paper, and this time I'm doing a dotted outline. So it's not quite as a hard outline, but I do like it to sometimes show it up against the background of the white paper. So I've actually outlined all the papers that I've used to layer behind the photograph, and I've done that now, and I'm sticking them together, so it'll make a single piece. Then it's easier to work with when they're all stuck together, and you can move it around, stick it in, keep it together, and they don't keep shifting about. So I've got that all ready to go on the background paper, and now I'm really going to decide on where I'm going to place these flowers. I've cut out all the ones I know I'm going to use, and I'm just trying to decide on where they're going to be sat on the page. So I'm just trying them out in different locations, I sit and have a look every now and again. Should it go there? Where should it go? It looks all right there, but it doesn't stay there. Some of them stay there, but I keep moving them around till they're in. I decided that I needed the pink ones a bit further away from the pink paper, and the turquoise ones together in away from the more turquoisey corner, if that makes any sense, but you'll see what I mean when I've finished it. And I'm just going through the exclusive die cut from Hip Kit that came with the kit, and just picking out some more flowers and little bits. There's some feathers there. Going through it, just picking out bits that I think might go on the layout. I'm picking out the clouds there that I've put at the top, but actually the clouds don't end up making it on the layout. But for a short while, I think they look quite cute up the top there. And now I'm just going through, and I think I'm definitely going to use the Hello Sunshine as my title. It seemed appropriate because it was the first full day we had on our holiday, going around the lake, Lake Constance, and it was a beautiful day, and we were just happy to be in the sunshine. So that seemed a good use of that die cut. And I'm having another rifle through my tray of fussy cut flowers to see what else I might want to use. So now I've got everything picked out and laying by the side of my layout, ready to put on. So I'm just going to stick the whole layering piece with the photograph onto the background, so it's all where I want it to be. And I decided to use this much brighter flower. I thought it really worked quite well as an anchor for the title, rather than having it just floating over there on the side. I thought this really gave it a good background, and it just made it stand out a little bit from the rest of the layout, because it's a much bolder colour, but it still fits in with everything else. And I really like the way that works with the title. I wanted the title just to stand a little bit, have a little bit of lift from the page. So I'm putting little tiny bits of foam on the back of it, so that it just stands up a bit next to so it slightly overlaps the photograph there. So I'm just sticking that on. Yeah, I like that. That works quite well. And now I'm going to start putting on my, now the next thing I'm going to do, I'd gone through my stash and I'd found some tags. I don't use tags very often. I'm not always sure how to use them, but I decided I would put a few little tags in that corner. It seemed a little bit empty and need something. So I picked out some tags that coordinated with the rest of the layout. And I've just popped them in behind there in that corner to see how they look with the flowers in front of them. And this is a little piece I fussy cut from I think it's from the April kit. There was a page with a load of rosettes on it, and I cut some out, and I just kept a couple knocking around in case I needed them. So I've tucked that one in there, and then I'm using the turquoise flowers I decided to put together in that bottom right corner where they'll show up better, because it was a very pink area with all the papers. So the turquoise flowers worked quite well there, I thought. And then I've got a couple of little feathers I'm just going to tuck in, and I'm just trying these out, seeing how they all look, whether they're going to work with the rest of it. And I've just found this little bit of ribbon for the final tag. The other two have already got a bit of ribbon or twine in. These are bits of ribbon that I don't know if you know, you often have a bit of ribbon on clothes. When you buy dresses and tops, they often have little bits of ribbon to hang them on the hangers, and I always cut them off because they're always different colours, and I keep them all in a bag, and I often don't remember to use them, but I thought they'd work quite nicely as on the top of these tags, make a change from twine. So two of the tags have got little bits of coordinating ribbon on rather than twine, and then I've used the twine on the acetate one on the end there. Always useful to keep those little tiny bits of ribbon, and they always seem to be different colours. I've got a muslin bag full of them, and I often think, well, how can I use these? So I thought this would be quite a nice way to use them. And then I'm just stapling them down just to keep them in place at the top there. There we are. Okay, now I'm going to stick all my flowers that I've been cutting out. I'm going to stick them all in place now. So they're little Those little ones, I thought, and having the tags behind, they just separated them a bit from the paper that they were cut from, and that extra rosette, it provided a little bit of separation from the backing paper. And then the other flowers are going to be stuck at the bottom corner there. And the little feathers, almost working like a leaf, and they've got a little bit of gold foiling on. So they're really pretty. These are from the ephemera pack that were exclusively designed for the hip kit. Not sure who it was designed by, probably Kim Watson, but I could be wrong. I usually am. I can never remember who did what. And then I picked out these little navy flowers. I thought went rather well round the title, as the hello is navy, and I quite like the way they just sit around the title there. And then I had a little puffy sheet that I'd got in my hip kit grab bag, and so I picked out a few puffy stickers from that. This one says fresh air never felt so good, and I am loving it. And then there was a little bird that I popped at the top there, and a circular piece that says awesome. The little bird is going to move in a minute, but because I realised he was just too close in colour to the photograph, to the flowers behind him. So I'm just putting on some enamel dots. They were in the kit and they coordinate with the papers. There we go, there's a little bird. I think he moves, he looks a bit better there next to the title. And another little cluster of coordinating enamel dots. And then in the other cluster, I'm putting the enamel dots in the centre of the flowers rather than just putting them around. I just thought they looked quite nice as flower centres, so that's what I've used them for there. And just sticking on the little navy flowers. So it makes a nice sort of darker spot of colour for the title, where it kind of stands out a little bit more. I like how that looks. And now I'm doing my my date on a little a little label that was in the ephemera pack. So I've done the date and just the place where we are, which is it's an area of, they call it the Bordensee, we call it Lake Constance, and that's where we were. So sticking that on there. And then my final touch is to stamp some words. It was Maggie Holmes tiny word stamp, and it just says lovely day. I put that in a couple of places, and that's my layout done. So thank you for joining me again. I really enjoyed doing this layout, and I hope you join me again and subscribe if you liked it. Goodbye.